The Pokemon trading card game rotation is just right around the corner, meaning some older cards currently in the standard format are going to be gone, which is kind of sad, but it's to make way for some brand new cards that will eventually make their way into our standard format. We're going to also be talking about some rule changes and other neat things that you need to know for the upcoming standard format. This is Mount Moon TCG, and this is everything you need to know about Pokemon rotation and the new rule changes and other things that Scarlet and Violet bring to the Pokemon trading card game. Let's take a look. April 14th is the day that rotation happens for the Pokemon trading card game. What this means is that older cards will be taken out of the standard format to make way for newer cards that will be coming to the format in the future. For this year's rotation, all cards with the D symbol on the bottom left of the card will be taken out of the format. In this video, we will be going over some of the more popular cards that will be missed. These cards that saw a significant amount of competitive play, or cards that are interesting but didn't see a whole lot of play. Either way, this video is to serve as a guide as what to expect in the new standard format, as well as talk about how rotation will impact some of the more competitive decks, and what decks may see more play. So with that being said, let's jump right into the Pokemon themselves. Here we have a good portion of the Pokemon that we lose to rotation. We will go by each set and see what cards we lose. First of all, we have the base set of Sword and Shield. Now this set is famous for giving us the cards like Zacian V and Zamazenta V, the mascot Pokemon of the set, as well as cards like Drizzile and Inteleon, that were staples in so many different decks. The set also brought us cards like Oranguru, Galarian Zigzagoon, and Chinchino, cards that will also be missed. Then there are other cards like Rillaboom and Frostmoth that were fun to play, but ultimately didn't have enough to really make a huge splash competitively. Now the next expansion we have is Rebel Clash. The deck that Rebel Clash brought to the table was the Dragapult VMAX deck, which saw quite a bit of play, especially when it first came out. Rebel Clash also had the Bolton V, which was a staple when Pikarom deck was running around. Galarian Weezing was most recently used in Eternatus decks. Malamar VMAX was used in Arceus V-Star decks for a little bit, and Eldegoss V was kind of there. Saw a little bit of play, but not as much as I thought at first. The next set in the Sword and Shield block is Darkness Ablaze. Now the big deck from this set was the Eternatus VMAX that I had mentioned earlier. This deck was good because the set also introduced cards like Crobat V to keep filling your hand up and doing more damage with Eternatus VMAX's attack. Also, Crobat V was a staple in many decks, so it's sad that it will be leaving us. Vikavolt V finally got its chance to shine recently, doing well in the last few regional tournaments. There is also Rowlet and Decidueye that I had a lot of fun playing. Also, the Mad Party deck, consisting of Bunnelby and Poltegeist, will be gone. And finally, I have to mention it for the fans, but Charizard VMAX was in the set and will be rotated as well. Vivid Voltage is the final main set we have. What we will miss most in this set is the amazing rare Pokemon, like Raikou and Rayquaza, as well as other Pokemon like Snorlax, Zeraora, and Zekrom. Actually, not a whole lot of Pokemon-wise that I can remember. But actually, lastly, we will cover the mini-sets of Champion's Path and Shining Fates. The few Pokemon here that I will mention are Duraludon V, Ditto V, Crobat VMAX, Alcremie VMAX, Yveltal, and Kyogre. So that will do it for the Pokemon themselves. However, there are many more Pokemon in the D block that I didn't mention that will rotate. For the trainers, I decided to put them together in the following groups: items, supporters, tools, and stadiums. First, I'll talk about the tool cards first. Now, a big change coming to the Pokemon trading card game is that tool cards are going to be their own separate thing from item cards. Meaning that when you use a card like Arita, you can't grab a choice belt as the item card, for example, because tools are no longer item cards. And the old tools will have the errata that they are no longer items. With that out of the way, we can continue. Some tool cards we are losing are Air Balloon, Big Charm, Big Parasol, and Cape of Toughness. Stadium cards we lose are Galar Mine, Training Court, Turffield Stadium, Rose Tower, Glimwood Tangle, and more. Supporter cards lost include Marnie, Sonia, Skyla, Birdkeeper, Leon, and Nessa. And finally, for the item cards that we lose, Hyper Potion, Metal Saucer, Ordinary Rod, Capacious Bucket, Tool Scrapper, Rotom Phone, as well as some of the big ones like Quick Ball, Evolution Incense, and Scoop Up Net. Now, you may have seen in other videos where they mention that Pokegear 3.0 and Palpad will rotate. And I'm here to say that no, don't worry, they are not rotating. They are in the Scarlet and Violet base sets, as well as other cards like Switch, Energy Search, and Energy Retrieval, for example. Last but not least, we will mention all these special energy that are rotating. We have Aurora Energy, Capture Energy, Twin Energy, as well as type-specific energy like Speed, Horror, Hiding, Heat, Powerful, Wash, Coating, and Stone energies. Now that we got what is rotating, we shall now discuss how rotation impacts some of the competitive decks. Decks that will unfortunately cease to exist are Eternatus VMAX and Vikavolt V, due to the fact that both of these Pokemon rotated, so ergo, the decks completely fall apart. Some decks lose quite a bit, but still have some hope to stick around and maybe make a comeback in the future. Palkia V-Star decks lose quite a bit with Inteleon being gone, as well as cards like Capacious Bucket, Evolution Incense, Wash Energy, Quick Ball, and Scoop Up Net for those Inteleon. Regigigas loses cards such as Marnie, Ordinary Rod, Scoop Up Net, Quick Ball, and a whole bunch of special energy I mentioned earlier, like Twin Energy, Speed Energy, Capture Energy, and Aurora Energy. There are decks that see a big hit in rotation, but will have access to other cards in the format that will still make them powerhouses. Lost Box loses Scoop Up Net, Quick Ball, Ordinary Rod, Training Court, Air Balloon, Oranguru, and Capture Energy. Meanwhile, Lugia V-Star loses the amazing rare Pokemon Yveltal and Raikou, as well as Oranguru, Marnie, Quick Ball, Powerful Energy, Capture Energy, Aurora Energy, Speed Energy, Heat Energy, and so on and so forth. The last deck I'm going to mention is Mew VMAX, because, well, actually rotation barely hurts the deck. The only card that Mew VMAX loses is actually Quick Ball. But we'll have Nest Ball, so it's not going to hurt the deck too much. That is just about everything you need to know about rotation and how it may impact the way you play the game and what deck you use to play it. Again, rotation happens on April 14th, and any sanctioned Pokemon tournament on or after that date will no longer allow the cards with the D mark on the bottom of the card. Unless that card has gotten a reprint like Professor's Research, Boss's Orders, Pokegear 3.0, and Switch, where since there is a newer print of the card, the older versions of that specific card are still legal. And there you go. That should be everything you need to know about rotation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Mount Moon TCG.